Hey, what's up, y'all? This is Jasmine Unique with I Am Uniquely Chosen, and I am back with another video today, y'all. I am so excited to be back with another video today because this video here is gonna be special to me because it's just like looking back at my life. And yesterday I just realized, like, dang, I went through that because of this, and I went through this because of that, and now I'm appreciative of the things that I went through. I'm always appreciative of what I went through, right? Like, a lot of times we go through some things, a lot of times we have problems and issues and, you know, circumstances and trials and tribulations, and we just like, why did we have this? Why did I have to suffer? I have to suffer. You know what I'm saying? Like, what purpose was this in my life? Why did God give me this? Why did God allow it to happen? So, again, sometimes it can be very, very painful, but get through anyway, sis. And then this right here, I might cry. I just might cry. Like, I am so grateful. Let's just get into it. If you haven't already, go ahead and tune into part 1 of my suffering testimony, where I share the most intimate details about my personal life, the suffering that I went through, like the breakup that I had to endure, 2 miscarriages in 1 year. Yeah, y'all, I was going through some pain, child. But somehow I'm able to look back now and say, oh my God, thank you, Jesus, for getting me through those things. Because when I was in it, I was not looking at the tunnel. I did not see the rainbow at the end. But somehow God brought me through those things, and I want to share them with you. So go ahead and tune into my suffering testimony part 2. Love y'all. Hello, today is March the 21st, Tiara's birthday, my sister. Her 22nd birthday, 2017. And just a little recap. Thursday, I found out that I was pregnant. And my doctor was like, yeah, you're pregnant. Your ACG levels are getting high. So now I'm getting excited. Like, tell my boyfriend we're expecting a baby. Blah, blah, blah. The ladies that's taking my blood, like, hey, are you and your boyfriend gonna keep the baby? I'm like, yes. We're gonna keep the baby. He's excited, blah, blah. So then she calls me back later on that day, telling me that, hey, like around my lunchtime, like 2 something, saying, hey, you know, this is not a viable pregnancy. You're not actually, I mean, you're pregnant, but basically saying it's a miscarriage. And basically saying that my ACG levels are not hiring, they're lowering. So it's not a viable pregnancy. So of course I was sad the rest of the day. And I'm like, I cried a little bit last night, because of course it's a sad situation, especially when you feel like you're ready to be a mother, and it's something that's a miracle that happened, and you weren't aware that happened. So I was like excited to bring a baby in this world and to love that baby unconditionally, have the baby love me. I look a hot mess today. It's like ugly, but anyway, so then she calls me back and says, hey, we need to run some tests, you know, at 2 o'clock. She's like, okay, we need to find out where the baby is. Because if it's in your tube, we got to take it out. Or if it's in your uterus, like where it is. So I went today, got an ultrasound. I did not find a fetus. They didn't find a fetus anywhere. They didn't find the fetus in my tube. They didn't find the fetus in my uterus. I don't know at this point. It's very confusing. Baby, if you are still there, if you're still I really hope you're healthy, baby, and God has so many different plans for you if that's the case. Then I get a phone call on like 30 minutes ago, basically saying, hey Jasmine, so yeah, your ACG levels are decreasing, which basically means that, you know, it's not a viable pregnancy. It's like, you know, the baby's not growing. So I'm like, okay, cool. Not even 10 minutes later, she calls me back and say, hey, so I got the opinion. I spoke with 2 other physicians, and they told me to have you come back tomorrow to do an HCG and to make sure it's not rising. You know, because look at the levels and just make sure that the baby, like my hormones are not rising or doubling. At this point, it's just very difficult. And I'm like saying, anyone who ever had a miscarriage, anyone who ever has dealt with this kind of stuff, God knows I feel your pain, because before I just like, you know, I just didn't see. I mean, I actually got a bond with my baby in the 5 days that I knew that the baby was there. Like, you know, that was just quick. And can you imagine 9 months or 8 months and somebody loses their child? That's just a terrible experience. But I'm just going to give it up to God, honestly, and say, whatever, whatever is destined, be destined, God. If I'm going to have a baby, I want a healthy baby. If not, I want a healthy me. Phew, that was a really tough thing to rewatch. I just found that video and just had to insert it here. Oh man, my emotions are going all over the place, but I'm happy I got through it, y'all. And if you want to know more information, definitely watch part 1 of the suffering testimony. And I've also written a blog about my miscarriage on IamUniquelyChosen.com. Check it out. But for now, we're going to move on to some other suffering that I've dealt with in the last couple years. Other thing that I kind of dealt with recently was having some relationships that were close to me be cut off. And you'll be wondering, like, why did it happen? Like, what happened? And why can't I be with that person? What's going on? And it was just so painful, especially during COVID. Like the last year or so, I kind of had to drop some friends, or they had to drop me, or whatever the case may be, or intimate relationships. And it was painful because I was like, I don't have a family here. Like, my mother's not here with me. My sister's not here with me. I don't have any children. I'm 20-something years old, and I'm just like, it's just me. So if it's just me here in the pandemic, I was like, I need somebody here with me, okay? And, when you break off those things, you wonder, like, why is this happening to me, and what's going on? And I want to be with that person, and it just becomes a struggle, and you become lonely. When you choose God, sometimes you become lonely. When you choose the right path for you, you can kind of become lonely. So I was in a state of just loneliness, and it would go and it would come, it would go and it would come, and I would just be like, gosh, what is going on? So at this time, I was more into reading my Bible than I was a couple years ago, but it still felt lonely. It still felt depressing, and I got into this depression where I was like, I'm just not happy. I'm not happy. I'm lonely. I feel like I need somebody, and I miss my old thing, and what's going on? God help me to get through it. And it took a long time for me to, actually, it didn't take that long. It was a lengthy process by just digging. He had to dig up and show me the root of why I was going through those things. Like, what exactly why are you feeling lonely? Like, do you feel like you need people? And that was one thing for me that I had to realize, is that I felt like I needed people. Like, people filled me up. Like, I needed someone here with me. I needed their approval. I needed their acceptance. Like, I needed them. And it's not, I didn't feel like I needed everybody, but the people that were close to me, I felt like I needed them. Like, I need them. And God started pulling away those people. He started pulling them away. And when he started pulling them away, it hurt. I was suffering. I was going through some things. I was like, God, this is not fair to me. Like, I'm here by myself. I'm feeling lonely. I'm depressed. I'm sad. Like, how can I get through this? I don't have anybody here with me. Like, help me to help me to receive happiness and peace. I'm depressed. And, I was just like in those bad spots. But now, I'm really crying, not because of the past per se. I'm crying because I was able to overcome those things. Like, y'all don't understand that when you put so much pressure into people, and you place your expectations onto people, and you want people to make you happy, or you want other outside sources to make you happy, it's not going to work. Like, that can be a very painful thing to adjust when things change. So I'm happy now that I got through it. Like, I was able to say, okay, God, like, he had to teach me, like, Jasmine, You don't need them because you're relying too much on them. Like, you're too dependent on people. You're too dependent on that man. You're too dependent on that friend. Like, you're too dependent on them. And how can you choose me? But like, I would put my friends first with everything. So he's like, how can you ever put me first? How can I ever be priority for you if you're always choosing Susie and Jerome and Lucy? Like, how can you place your trust in me if all you see is the people in front of you? Like, how can you do that? So he removed them people from my life, and I was like, it was like a freaking knife on the inside of me. Like, what happened? No, I can't. Like, what you mean? What you mean you finna take my friend? You about to take that guy from me? Like, you ain't about to do that. You not about to do that. And he did it, Joe. He did it. But I had to learn how to put my trust in God. I had to learn how to trust him. I had to learn that, okay, God, like, they're away from me. I don't have them as my source. I don't have them as my strength. Like, they're not my comfort anymore, my pillow. Like I'm now on this ship alone, and I gotta figure it out. But the good thing is that I don't have to figure it out alone, because I have God with me. He will never leave me nor forsake me. And it took me some time to drill that in my thick skull, that Jasmine, it's not just you. You have God. You have God here with you. Like, he's going to talk to you, and just have a relationship with him. Just talk to him about your problems. Talk to him about what you're going through. Just be open with him, and just allow him to just, get deep down in your soul and in your heart. Going through those suffering moments, those hurt moments. I remember, and I think it was like, I remember just a few months ago when I knew I had to cut off somebody. When I tell y'all I was bawling, crying, like, I was like, it was so ridiculous how much I was crying, that I look back and I was like, what the freak was you going through? Now, granted, I was on my cycle. So I was like, I'm still a G, because I was a little emotional, but I was just like crying so hard, because I was like, no, I don't want him to go. I was like, he's not leaving me. Like, why? He's such a good person. Like, he's such a good friend. Like, I was just making up excuses, and I was mad at God. Like, Like, why would you even let him come into my life? Or like, what was the purpose of you even introducing to me? Like, I was just like, I was hot. I was upset, and I was like, I was pissed off. Like, I remember going to church like the day after that I had cut it off, and I was just in church like, I didn't even want to be there. I didn't even want to listen to what they had to say. Like, I didn't want to hear nothing. But I went because I was going to be obedient anyway. And it was just so painful. I remember going home. I went straight to my bed, laid my face on my bed, and I just started crying. Like, God, this is so hard for me. Like, it's already hard for me to meet people that I genuinely feel connected with. Why did I genuinely feel connected with this person? This person saw me. This person was able to see me for who I was. This person was able to hear me. This person was able to understand me. This person wanted to know more about me. And sorry, I'm crying, y'all, because, oh my God, I've always been the person to get to know other people. I was always the person to want to know more about them. And when someone actually saw me, it was like eye-opening. I was like, I like this. This is how it feels. And they were supportive, and they were just there, and you just felt genuine. And I was just like, I want this to stay with me. I don't want to give this up. God, I don't want to give this up. And but I had to give it up. And so it was a really strenuous process, because I was suffering, and I was like, I don't want to deal with this pain. I don't want to deal with another person out of my life that I felt like I was connected to. And it was tough, but I was obedient. I was obedient because I knew that on the other side that it was a reason. Like, it was a reason why this person's not in my life. Like, I don't necessarily know the reason right now, just like I didn't know the reasons back then, and I now know them. Like, it takes some time for you to see, like, why you don't need that in your life, like why that's not right for you, like why you went through that, why you endured all that pain, like why you went through those struggles. Like, it takes some time for you to see those things. So, suffering is hard. Suffering is difficult. Suffering is a struggle. But I know that in order for me to get closer to God, in order for me to meet my spouse, in order for me to know who I am and to just grow and to become a better Christian, become a better person, to love more, to have genuine connections, I have to go through that pain. And I can honestly say that I am grateful for that pain. I'm grateful for those problems. I'm grateful for the things that I went through, y'all. Like, it's tough. It is tough, but it's very needed. It's very necessary. And sorry, y'all, I didn't know I was gonna be up here crying like this. I told y'all it was gonna be something personal. And but read 2 Corinthians 1 and 3. It talks about suffering. It talks about, God being our source and us staying connected. And, suffering produces perseverance. It allows us to keep going. It allows us to keep pushing. It, we might not want to. We might not understand it. We might not feel like it's right. But you will keep going. You'll keep going. And you'll know that on the other side, there's something greater. On the other side, there's something better. There's something that's going to mature you into a better Christian. Like, it's going to mature you. Like, right now, I'm more mature than I was years ago. And I'm able to say, God, I trust you more. I trust you deeply now. Like, yes, I'm going to have some problems. Yes, I'm not going to always be super excited that I'm suffering, but I trust that I can get through the other side because you've done it before. Don't be afraid to ask God to help you solve your problems, or to help you endure those problems, to help you give the strength to endure those problems, and just be patient and wait. Like, it may not happen that day. It may not happen that next month. Like, just allow God to do what he need to do. He's doing all those things behind the scenes. Like, I feel like a lot of times we be wanting to see it. Like, I don't see you doing nothing, God, but he's doing it all behind the scenes. All behind the scenes. You can't see it. Just know that he's working on your behalf. Just know that no weapon is formed against you shall prosper. Just know that he's working endlessly to make sure that he's going to win. Like, we're going to win. You're going to win. You're going to come out prosperous and victorious at the end of the day. So, instead of complaining about our struggles, we should see them as an opportunity for growth. And again, that's tough because when you go through it, you don't want to. But just know that I'm going through this because I know that there is something that is going to build me up. Like, I want to be built up in Christ. My faith is going to be built up. My strength is going to be filled up. My hope is going to be built up. Like, it's an opportunity to grow. And that's in James 1 and 2, Matthew 5, 10 and 12. Read that, study it, listen to it over and over and over, especially if you're going through some things right now that you just feel like there's no way out. Like, go read those scriptures. We can't really know the strength of our character until we see how we react under pressure. We may find it easy to have joy or peace when everything is going easy peasy, but will it be the same when there are problems? When you have crap that you're going through, are you still going to have faith? Are you still going to have joy? Are you still going to have peace? Like, start working on it now. Like, even if you're not going through anything right now, start putting these scriptures in you, on the inside of you, so that you can know, like, you're going to go through some stuff in your life. Like, there's going to be some pain, and put it in you now so you can be determined that you're going to get through it. You might say, well, why did we go through crap? Why do we go through issues? I don't understand it. Like, why can't this just be a perfect world? I'm a Christian. I live for God. Why do I have to go through some stuff? God wants to develop us into a complete human, not to just cover us or keep us in a safety net from all pain. Like, we have to get through all these things in order for us to go to where we need to go to. Enduring through trials generates a well-developed, seasoned, experienced person, someone who is fully trained, someone who is capable of persevering. Like, this is what is going to develop you at the end of the day. And this is one of the last things that I'm going to say. God says, the joy of the Lord is my strength. And we might say, well, how do I have joy in the midst of this problem? How do I have joy in the midst of this situation? And ultimately, joy can coexist with sorrow, pain, trauma, happiness, peace. Like, whatever it is, you can still have joy. Even if you're going through some things, you can still have joy even when you're in some dirt. So just rely on God. Just lean on God. God, I trust you. God, I believe in you. God, I thank you. I'm going to get through this. I have peace. I have patience. I have hope. I have endurance. Like, God, I thank you for getting me through these things. I thank you for helping make it easy for me. God, I thank you that you will help me with my problems. We can choose to live with joy without denying our present emotions. So even though we have joy, we still are understanding that, yes, I'm still feeling this pain, but I'm going to still choose joy. I'm going to choose happiness. It hurts, oh my God, but God, I choose joy. God, I can't understand, but God, I choose joy. God's faithfulness teaches us to respond to all life circumstances, whether it's good, bad, or ugly, with joy. Like, you just want to have joy. Like, whether it's terrible, just have joy. Like, I know that sounds hard to comprehend, but at the end of the day, just continue to just have joy. Start looking up scriptures that talk about joy and allow God to really bring joy into your life. Because for me, that happened to me. Like, I was going through some things and I'm like, but why do I feel peace? Why do I feel okay? Like, that is weird. I should be sad right now. I should be upset right now. But I was like, this is different for me. I'm not used to this. I'm not used to just feeling like, okay, whatever. It is what it is. I'm going with the flow. I'm just trusting God. So it can happen for you. Trust me. And I'm not nobody different, because I would have been back in the day like, let me. Whew, that ain't the right way. I ain't spoken so long. It's like, what? I look crazy. Anyways, you get what I'm saying? Like, joy. And lastly, joy brings contentment when we realize nothing in all creation will ever separate us from the love of God. So y'all, that's just what I wanted to share today. I'm just super grateful and appreciative of the suffering that I had to go through. And I'm positive that there will be more suffering that I will have to get through, and it's not going to be easy. It's not going to be fun. I'm not going to be like, woohoo, I'm suffering, woohoo, I'm suffering, woohoo. Like, it's not going to be like that. But I have to say, God, I'm dealing with this for a reason. I don't know what this reason is, but I ask you, God, to please give me strength. Please give me courage. Please help me to get through these things. Please help me to push through. Please help me to stay faithful, to continue to trust you, regardless of what is in the face of what is in my face, regardless of what I'm going through. God, I trust you. And it's just a lot, but trust him. It's so much more rewarding when you can trust him and have peace than to not trust him and be over there looking crazy. So trust God, believe God, love God, and love yourself. Put yourself first. Put yourself first. And by saying put yourself first, I mean choose the best option for you. And we know what that best option is. Like have the discernment. Have discernment to know that you should choose what's best for you. And if you know that relationship is not the best thing for you, snip, snip. Like, you're going to go through some suffering. You're going to go through some pain. You're going to go through some issues. It's going to be hard, but put yourself first. That's all, y'all. I am out, and I hope you guys have a great rest of your day. I hope you guys learned something or just felt comfort throughout this time. All right, y'all. Love y'all. Bye.